Everyone says live moment to moment without the burden of past. But is it practically possible? What is living in moment to moment mean? Let us go into it. When I see my boss, immediately the mood gets spoiled due to the past impressions of him on my mind. Thus, I see him through the memory or past. Living in moment means I must see him without past or memory interfering. Now, had there been no memory, I cannot even recognize him, forget about his image. Thus, memory is essential. Now, this essential interferes with the present or current moment. Thinker starts thinking and the chattering in mind starts. Now, what actually is happening is that this chattering in mind is interfering, and whose source is memory. We need a system by which this mental chattering can stop so that we are fully attentive to the present moment. Thus, memory is not the problem, but the mental chattering is the problem. Now we have to look how this mental chattering can be stopped. To know this, we have to learn. Why does this mental chattering takes place? I saw the boss. I send the information to the mind. Both thinker and natural controller comes into action. The core of natural controller is the body, and of the thinker is the ego. Boss will give too much work, thus creating pain to the body, and natural controller sends the negative signal. Similarly, boss will shout and hurt the ego, and thinker sends the negative signal. In order to save ego and safeguard ego, thinker thinks on the thought from the memory and start thinking. In the process of thinking, thinker work is to protect ego being hurt by the boss. Thought source is the memory. Generation of thought occur based on ego. Thinker wants to protect itself from the boss so that one shouldn't hurt. Thus starts thinking. This thinking then fills up the present moment and envelopes it and does not allow the communion with the present moment. Present moment awareness is only possible if we are able to fully stop this irrational thinking. This thinking will only stop if there is no judge, as if we are seeing the boss afresh for the first time. If we know this, then why still the thinking takes place? We know that we should not judge a person with past, and even though we judge. But why? Because unknowingly we have created ego. Had there been no ego, then we would not have been hurt by the behavior of the boss. Had there been no hurt, then there would not have been any opinion about the boss stored in the memory. It is due to the hurt of ego that memory gets activated and generates thought. And once the thought is generated, thinker starts thinking, and it is purely based on protection of ego. Now, if you see the boss and at the same time is able to see the whole process of thought, thinker and thinking, then what happens? You saw boss on the basis of past hurts. Thought is generated. Thinker starts thinking. Based on memory, thinker advises or gives opinion. Boss is a bad man. Just keep your mouth shut and let him speak through his poisonous tongue, etc., etc. If you are able to completely see what is happening at the glimpse of boss, how the mind reacts, and how at the glance of boss the complete mind machinery gets triggered, then you will find that the judge fades away. Blood pressure becomes normal. breathing rhythm normalizes and the tension in mind is removed. Why? Because now you are enlightened and you can see under the light of wisdom the complete process of ignorance. Mind is highly sensitive and alert in awakened state. Why? Because the background is in active mode, and in this illumination of background you see the complete movement of ignorance. Just to summarize, we see that due to the environment, ego is created. Ego is nothing but individuality. This ego energizes as and when it is heard. Thinker cooks up the data from memory and creates opinion and judgment, which are then stored back in the memory. The aim of thinker is to protect this false ego. The more is the ego, the more is the thinker thinking, and whole stress and tension created by this process. If we can just see this, it will slow down the reactions of mind, and once the reactions of mind evaporates, there is illumination of the background. Once the background is illuminated, entire mind and its activities, including its mischief, are exposed. Then the mental chattering stops.